Good day, one and all. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. Today is Holiday Wednesday, and I'm going to be making another Christmas card. I know last week was all Christmas, but I'm using GinaK Designs Joyful Season. This is the stamp and the die bundle, and I'm going to be using the stamps and the dies today. Now, I'm going to be making a horizontal card, and I'm using red cardstock. This is GinaK's Christmas red, but you can use any red that you like. This measures 10 inches by 7 inches. I scored it at the 5-inch mark, folded it, and creased it with my bone folder. And then I will be using 3 pieces of white cardstock. These measure 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. One is going to go inside the card, one on the outside, and then the other one I'm going to be using to stamp and die. So it doesn't have to be this size for the stamp and the die. And I'm going to be doing some partial embossing today using GinaK Designs Swiss Dots. I love this folder for everything, but it also makes me think of snow and Christmas. So the first thing I need to do is emboss. I'm going to do partial embossing on one of these, but I need to see how far down I want my embossing folder to go, because this is going to go at the top of the card. Yeah, I'm going to make a horizontal card today. So I need my embossing to go down, about that far, I would think. So that's going to go right in there and try to get it even as I can. I think that should be good. Yeah, that'll be plenty. But I want to make it straight because I want it straight across. All right, so to emboss, didn't work so well yesterday with the Spellbinders folder, but this is my embossing folder sandwich for the Anna Griffin Empress. The A plate, D metal shim, my folder, and the A plate. Okay. And that's how it looks. Now, when you do that, you get a fine line right across where the embossing folder meets. And that's okay because I'm going to cover that up. Pull up my extra paper. I'm using a gold. This is from Grossman's Design Lines, metallic silver and gold slivers. It's called Stickers by the Yard. This is pretty old. I don't know if they make these anymore, but anytime I can find strips like that, I'll use them. I'm going to put a gold strip right across there. You could just use your score mat and score a line, but I thought I'd like the look of a little bit of gold on a Christmas card. So I'm just covering that line up. I'm trying to get it straight. And then I'm just going to wrap it around the back. And so that just adds a little touch of elegance. All right, now I'm going to put Wishing You a Season of Joy. I could also use Wishing You a Joyful Christmas. I want to go with a longer one because I'm going to put the flowers all the way across. So I'm going to use Wishing You a Season of Joy. And I'm going to just do my stamping now. And this is going to go on flat. So I get my stamping platform. And I have not conditioned these stamps since I just opened them. So stamps come with a coating on them from the factory, and you just need to get that coating off. You don't have to do this. You can just do several layers of ink, which will kind of do the same thing, but it's just easier. Now I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne just because that's one of my favorite blacks, and I only need one black because I'm going to alcohol ink color the Poinsettia design. And that came out perfect. I have a little smudge down here for some reason. It might be on the mat. But what I'll do is I'll use my tidy towel, clean that off. And I'm just going to close that for a minute because I'm going to use my Mono Sand Eraser. I've got a little smudgy black ink down here. Might have been from the edge of the stamp, but it comes right off. Okay. All right, now to take the largest, well, I'm going to stamp the inside also. I'm not going to color the inside, but I am going to stamp it, and I'm going to use the smaller poinsettia design. And I'm just going to have that on the inside of the card. In fact, I'm going to bring it up so that this can come off the bottom like that. Just to add a little something something to the inside of the card. Now you could color this in if you'd like. There we go. Clean that off. And don't do what I just did by rubbing your wet tidy towel on it. So we're going to do that again. A wet tidy towel just smeared the ink. There we go. Take it off. Then wipe. Okay, now I'm going to glue that down to the inside of the card. And I'm going to glue the front on the card. It didn't really do anything other than it caused a little grayness to appear. Now come on. I think my glue bottles are going to take turns as to which one works on a video and which one doesn't. Clean that out. That could be, there was a little bit of plugged glue, I think. There we go. Well, must have been a plug. All right, this one will go on the inside. Turn it the correct direction. And then I'm going to put the front on, and then I will use my acrylic block to hold these down while I take care of the stamping, coloring, and die cutting of the topper piece. I'm just going to set this aside, and I'm going to put my acrylic stamping block on them just to hold them down while they dry. Put the glue cap back on. All right, these back on there. And I got glue on my hand. Clean that off. Okay, now I am going to use the third piece and stamp the large poinsettia image. I'm going to put this up towards the top because I think I have to angle this to get good coverage. All right, now I need to condition it. They do make conditioning erasers. I will just continue to use my fingers until they don't work anymore. All right. Pardon me. That looks good. So I'll take this off, clean that with my tidy towel. Okay, now I can get to coloring. Set the die cuts aside. I'll die cut it out after I'm done coloring. All right, now I made myself a little chart over here. I picked some colors ahead of time. Now for the bulbs of the ornaments, I've chosen FY010 Fluorescent Yellow. But I'm going to add some other things to this after it's die cut out and on the card front to make it look more glowy. And then I'm going to pick out, I'm just going to use BG041 Cool Gray for the outline of the ornament. Or the lights, not really an ornament. A string of lights. I'm not coloring the inside, just the outside. And I don't really know why. It just makes it look a little bit more three-dimensional. For the ornament base, I have BG080 Cool Gray. They named their grays all this pretty much the same. Cool gray, warm gray, blue grays. Okay, got all of those done. Now, for the outer berries, I'm going to go with R865 Geranium because it's a nice dark, so it looks more like holly berries to me. The flowers will be quickest to do. This shouldn't be a very long coloring, but do feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to watch me color. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And I'll come back later on to get the greenery once I'm using that green for another purpose. I would love it if she would come out with a stencil for this. Hint, hint, GinaK. But I like coloring too. I'm getting more used to coloring and trying my hand at shading. And I think I'm making progress. That's the only way you're going to make progress, is just to keep at it and try and do your best. Okay. Now, I'm trying to keep these in somewhat of an order so I know what I'm doing. All right, for the green leaves, I have a G750 Emerald Green. I'm just trying to go with more Christmassy colors. This is not the color I would normally use for leafery or foliage. This is a really bright Christmas green. But in this instance, it works well, I think. I will go silent as I color when I get to like thin areas so I don't go outside the line. But when I'm in the inside, I can color or talk as pretty much as I want. It's just the outsides. I hope you guys are having a nice week. Our weather has started, it's going to be turning colder. We've had some nice warm weather lately. And in case you're wondering, I might not respond to your comments as quickly this week as I actually filmed this. This is coming out Wednesday. I filmed all my videos for this coming week on Saturday. This is the week coming up that this video is showing as the anniversary of when my husband passed away. So I don't do a lot except remember him this week. So if I get a moment, I will get online to comment on your comments. But if you don't hear from me, I'm okay. I just am stepping back from the world for a little bit. And I do that every year at this time. Okay, this one I'm trying to see where this leaf is supposed to stop. I think it goes all the way down. We're going all the way down. If you have this set, let me know what you think. Is that leaf supposed to go all the way down? Oh, I see a piece over here I missed too. I guess I'll know once I get it all colored together. Is anyone out there having Thanksgiving plans if you're here in the U.S.? I don't have a lot of family left to celebrate with, but my brother and sister-in-law and I usually get together. And sometimes the nieces and the great nieces and nephews come over. I usually go to my brother's, but he's been having a rough time this year, so I'm not sure if he's going to host Thanksgiving or if I'm just going to make a little dinner and take it over to him and his wife. Haven't really decided yet. This is coming along nicely, I think. All right, 2 more green leaves left. And one reason why I let this hole until I'm done is if I die cut out when you first stamp it, sometimes the ink tends to stick to the top of the plate and it'll put ink where you don't want it to be. So by giving it a little bit of a rest here while I'm coloring, it should prevent that. Okay, now I'm going to go in with G458 Hunter Green, and I'm just going to add, I'm following the stamped outline here. I'm just making this darker, the ribs darker, which adds a little bit more depth and dimension. And I'm not staying right on the rib. I'm going kind of like over it. I'm just kind of like scribbling over it. I guess a well-defined scribbling. Following the line, but not really caring if I go outside the line, if that makes sense. I'm trying to go outside the line, but not over and above. Just get it in there and scribble. I'm doing more down here because I think that's how the light's going to look. Now I'm going to use the same green, and I'm going to, pardon me, go back on where the holly berries are. That's the color I'm putting on their stems. Because on smaller areas, it comes out nice and dark. Okay, oh, there's some, I'll do the same on the green on these flowers that I've yet to color. Okay, now for the poinsettia, I'm going to go with R584 Coral Haze. I discovered this color this past week when I was coloring, and it gives it a nice Christmassy red. I usually use tomato, and I do have that here. But this is just such a pretty red. You could do this. This would be really pretty done on watercolor paper using a small tip brush. I would really love to see a stencil for this. Stencils are one of my favorite things for card making. Okay. Well, it's not too bad. 23 minutes in on recording. Really just have to finish coloring this and die cut it out and pop it on the card. So once you get going, you can make a card fairly quickly. It's just initially sometimes it's a little longer when you're trying to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. That's what takes the longest. Now, I am going to take the tomato that I normally use for my red, and I'm going along the veins of the poinsettia. Okay, now for these flowers, let's see if I've picked the right color here. This is a Rose Red, RV783 Rose Red. And I think I can use my fatter tip on these ones. It's similar to the Poinsettia color, but different at the same time. You probably can't see the difference on camera, but it's a darker red than the Poinsettia, but not as dark as the hollyberries. Okay, now I'm going to die cut this out, put it on the card, and then embellish the dickens out of it. Since it's doing a Christmas card, I'll say that's Charles Dickens. All right, now get the die cut. Figure out which way this die cut goes. Looks like it's going to be here. All right, that looks good. Okay, now you'll see why I am going to put it on the card and then embellish it, because a lot of the things I'm going to put on it, they're going to take a little while to dry. So let me get my card. And I kind of want this, I'm not sure how I want it. Like that. Oh yes, that looks pretty, kind of at an angle. So I'm going to use, oh goodness, I guess I'll use my round dots that I used on yesterday's project. Of course, filming these all in one day, I'm trying to remember which one was yesterday, which one was Monday, but that's all right. It's just, it's nice, and it's something I need to do, is just once a year, take some time and reminisce. Okay, now that should do it. And I'm going to pop that on there like that. Okay, let's get all these backings off. Sometimes I think these would be nice to take the backings off first, but then I might stick them to my hand. Okay. Put that like that. Oh, I better plug my computer in. My battery's getting low again. All right. Okay, now I'm going to use, this is Stickles glitter glue, glitter gel. And I'm going to use this and a toothpick. and a little scrap paper. I'm going to put this, if I can get it, in the center of the poinsettia. I need a little bit more. Well, I'm glad that landed on my glass mat and not on my card. I don't need the whole thing, just a little. And I also think I'll put a little bit on these flowers here, whatever. Now I'm going to use a different one on the flowers. I do need to get that off my card. Okay, all right. For the ones on whatever these flowers are, I'm going to use my Artistro permanent marker pen. This is gold and it's shiny. All right, now on the poinsettia holly berries, I'm just going to use my Wink of Stella in clear just to make the berries shine a little bit. Okay, now I am going to use glossy accents. Let's see if I can get this right. All right, I'm going to put that on the lights. And this is what's going to take about an hour to dry. Make sure I get it all on there evenly. And that's why I added the gray on the sides to add a little bit more dimension. This is not a product I use very often, but I do like to use it occasionally. Make sure it fills in. Okay. All right, that is going to be it for this card, other than, okay, and take a little diamond stickles and randomly, as much as I can random, on the snow on the back of the card. All right, now that is it. And I did get my hand in the gold. All right. Okay, that is my card for today. And I don't know if you can see how it makes those ornaments look like they're glass. And it will dry clear just like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.